We are looking to enhance the laptop store project from the YByte Python curriculum available at www.ybyte.in. Laptop store is this very interesting project where we use dictionaries to create the atmosphere of a laptop store where a player comes in and chooses the preferences, of the laptop that he or she would like to purchase. Now, one very, let's say, unrealistic part of our design is that the model names are kind of chosen arbitrarily. So, for example, right now we just said model names would be AAA, BBB, and CCC. This is not quite, let's say, realistic. Also, in practice, usually brands have their own model names. Of course, we are using some fictitious brands, just to sort of create a sense of realism. But still, usually every brand will have its own series of laptops or any other products. We would build that because that's also a good opportunity for us to get a little bit more familiar with, let's say, dictionaries. So in this video, we'll see how we can create a brand and model mapping of this sort. The idea is very simple that we can, fix our, let's say, brand model mapping with a dictionary. Essentially for this dictionary, all the brand names would be the keys. Remember, dictionary is always keys and values. Basically, keys will be the brand names and the values will be a list of model names. Basically, then for every brand, we have a model name that can be chosen from this list. Now, remember, we have following brands, which we have created. They all come from this master dictionary. So what I will do is that I'll create a new dictionary using the same keys. Remember, now we are using master dictionary brands, which is a list. Now, when I create a dictionary from these keys, the models keys will be all the brands. We have seen this before. So models will be a dictionary with all these keys. Now, having done this, I could just go and populate each of these. So this models itself is a dictionary, but each, let's say, value of that model is a list. Now, having done this, all we need to do is that, look, when we create these laptops, I'm creating 60, for example, here in my inventory. It could be 60, it could be 30, it could be 100, doesn't matter. Previously, I'm picking up all the, specs, all the, let's say, features of that laptop from in a random manner from the master dictionary. But now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say, okay, look, if it's a, for anything except a model, go and do the same thing like earlier. However, for a model, now go and choose this from this dictionary, which is models. And the key that we are going to provide is the brand that we are looking at. And that's really all we need to do. Let's see this in action because this is quite, makes the project more realistic, let's say. So I come back here to the code that I had. Remember, the model names here are being picked up randomly from AAA, BBB, CCC, regardless of the brand. But we can, enhance this whole thing by creating a model and brand mapping as we just discussed. I'm going to just paste some code, which is fairly straightforward code in order to save time. So what I've done is, like I said, is to create a dictionary using the same keys as the brands. And thereafter, this dictionary, every key is the brand name and every value is basically a list from which this, let's say, for that particular brand, the models come from. Now, when I create these laptops, like I said, I'm going to ask myself a question. If, let's say, KK is not equal to model, which means for everything else, we keep doing exactly what we are doing. Now, having populated all the other keys except model, we can come out of the for loop and then write one line of code to, let's say, populate the model. So I'm just going to say new laptop, let's say, model. Now remember, we are creating a brand model mapping, which means for every brand, we are going to pick up the model randomly, let's say, from this list, just to keep it simple. So I'm going to say, look, it's going to be random.choice once again. However, the list that we are looking at is part of this list, the part of the dictionary called models, and the key for this particular model is nothing but new laptop, let's say brand. So with this, basically we'll find that, look, the model will be picked up from this piece of code. I did not give any preference for any of the other features. Hence all the laptops came out on my display. Basically, I noticed that every model now is dependent on the brand that we are looking at. For example, W Acer has a model called Nitro, has a model called Aspire. W Lenovo has a model called Idea, Yoga. W Asus has a model called Vivo, and so on. Now you can, obviously imagine that the more models you create, the more variety you'll see on the, on the inventory. But this is the idea. So very nice, simple idea. but that makes the project quite realistic. Now, of course, you can go on and say that, look, this series of laptops is for, let's say, a certain usage, and hence they have larger RAM. Some other series of laptop is maybe meant for travel, so screen is very small. You can make this more and more richer, more and more realistic, but this is kind of the starting point, and I hope this has been interesting to you. This way of learning, where we first build a basic activity and then systematically think on how we can enhance it, make it more realistic, is a great way to learn, because it reinforces concepts in a very amazing way. First, we learn the basic concepts and then we see how they can be enhanced. And that creates a great way to, let's say, make the activity more interesting as well. If you think this way of learning works for you, look at our website www.ybyte.in. We have many, many, many such activities, and we always look at enhancing them. We always learn Python programming through fun activities. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.